I feel like I haven't done live stream for ages, and I kind of haven't. But I was doing a live stream in my private groups today, and I was like, ooh, I feel like doing public live stream too. So here I am, and I would like you to ask me anything. So I'm just gonna wait. Oh, there's some people here. Hi! Thanks for joining me. I haven't been live streaming for ages, and I'm here. And I want... Oh, thank you. Thanks. If you've got something to ask me, please ask me. I want to chat. Ask me a question. How can I help you? Please, I'm all ears and I'm listening. I'm here. What's the weather like? It's actually... I went for a walk on the beach this morning and it was like 27 degrees at 8:30. And then 20 minutes later it was 30 degrees. So it's pretty warm, and just about to, well, after I get off this live stream, going back down the beach because it's beautiful. It's not so windy today, so yay for that. So you did just ask me a question. Hey Lou and Jess. So yeah, ask me a question. Ask me a question. I'm all ears. I'm waiting. So I have been doing my raw detox. It's breezy in England. Yeah, it's been blowing a gale here for quite some time. And I've been struggling a little bit with that because I can only tolerate so much wind. So yeah, it's nice for it not to be so blowy today, but it does blow away the cobwebs. The wind is good to blow everything out of your aura. So obviously there's all the, you know, different weather for certain reasons, and they do help us. So where do I get my spiritual influences? That's a good question. Been doing this stuff for quite some time now, and I think that, you know, the best question, I mean the best answer to that is that it always changes. Where do I get my spiritual influences? More and more it's from, you know, within me, and you know, that's kind of really, you know, getting, you know, becoming more and more, obviously, and that's kind of the I guess the what's the word, the goal, I guess. You know, when we are looking at, you know, working internally, or, you know, helping ourselves or doing any sort of personal development work, we can listen outside ourselves, and, you know, there's a time and a place for listening to other people and learning and watching other people and what they're doing, and then there's a time for coming in and only listening to what you're being called to do, and then we kind of come back out again. And it's interesting because I was like, what did I talk about on this live stream today? And I knew it would just come if I asked questions of people asking questions. So thank you, Mark, because it's kind of the theme that I've been getting all morning anyway, in the private groups, is really around trusting the flow. Like I almost put on the live stream title, you know, do you trust? Yeah, because ultimately it is a big part of that, of like, you know, trusting, you know, and I talk about it all the time, yeah, the natural rhythms and cycles of the earth, of the ocean tide, you know, comes in and comes out. You know, we're energetic beings. We have an inflow and an outflow through our chakras. You know, nature has a day and a night. You know, there's seasons, you know, that change around. And it is about trusting the sense of, you know, when we're being called to, you know, listen to other people, and when we're being called to go within and listen within. And, you know, yeah, that is a delicate balance, because, you know, everything that I say, I feel like I'm like, well, is that truth? You know, and as always, you know, take what is truth for you and leave the rest. So, you know, with that whole thing, it's like, you know, to grow and develop, we learn from external, and then the key is having your truth filter turned on and taking what works and leave the rest. So, you know, allowing yourself to go, oh, okay, that's interesting, and we can grow to a certain point, and they're like, well, actually, does that resonate with us or not? Yeah, and it's allowing yourself to find your delicate balance, and then trust yourself with what feels right and what doesn't. or what sits right with you and what doesn't, about, you know, where you're being called to go and grow and, you know, evolve and all that sort of thing. So yeah, so evolving is something we all do in our own time and space, in our own development and mindset, as you know. But what has helped you to evolve spiritually through the joyful times and those barriers which are more challenging? Okay, well, yeah, I guess for me it all started in 2005 when I was 21 and spiritually awakened, and it was through the Lightworker Practitioner training that, you know, I did a year-long personal development course back then, so 12 years ago now, and I've just been kind of growing and, you know, learning and getting my hands on as much as I can in that 12 years, which is quite a long time. So, you know, my intuition and my skills, you know, in that regard are very, very acute, because I'm constantly, you know, it's kind of a way of life now. So, you know, my intuition is very spot on, even though there's some things I don't like to listen to all the time. So in the start, it was Doreen Virtue. No, it's okay. I appreciate the question. Doreen Virtue, you know, with the Oracle cards, and then I was put onto a book, The Lightworker's Way, and in The Lightworker's Way by Doreen Virtue, she mentions a whole lot of other authors, Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay, and back then, in 2005, I went and bought, you know, a stack of books, and every book that she mentioned in there, I went and bought and read. So, you know, Louise Hay, you know, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, you know, all those people, Stephen Farmer, a lot of these people, and, you know, would just kind of like absorbed all this stuff back then. And then since then, see your question, Jess, I'll get to it in a moment. And since then, you know, it's just kind of been, you know, fine tuning and, you know, go through phases of who I'm listening to and, you know, where, and, you know, along those ways. So when you said, what has helped me to evolve spiritually through the joyful times and those barriers which are more challenging? I guess the tools that I learned in the Lightworker Practitioner training back in 2005 are kind of what I always end up referring to, because that's what worked for me back then. It got me off recreational drugs, and yoga did as well, actually. So yoga and the Lightworker Practitioner training, plus learning from, you know, as I mentioned, Louise Hay and all those likes. And then also, yeah, I think that's probably that. And then, you know, as I've gone into the online world, obviously there's other people that I've been listening to. So, you know, it just depends. It does kind of, you know, flow and evolve and move. My intuition tells me that you will start spiritual retreats at some point. Go for it. Yeah, it's definitely something that's in my big picture vision at all. So it's, you know, it's kind of the definite, you know, that's my big picture vision. I've always, you know, dreamt of running retreat centers, and that's definitely happening. It's in the plan. I'm taking the steps to make it happen for sure. So yeah, so the, you know, it is definitely the Lightworker Practitioner training, and, you know, and then what I teach in my courses, so Trust Your Intuition and Calling in Your Soulmate, all the tools and resources that I provide, they're very much that. And that's what I was saying, you know, like in the sense of like there's a certain time for listening to everyone out there and watching people and doing what they're doing and taking courses and courses and courses, and then it gets to a point where you need to just stop that for a moment and listen to within and what you're being called to do, and listening to what this is guiding you to do, all that aside. Yeah, again, it's that inflow and outflow, the surge, the wave, all of that. Yeah. All right, so, and thanks for that about the spiritual retreats. That's definitely always been there for sure. Okay, so what did you say there, Jess? All right, so anyone's jumping on, I'm full questions day. Let me help you. Ask me questions. I want to help you, or if there's something going on for you. Okay, Jess says, all great, tummy. I'm getting cold feet about my love situation. Change that's happening this weekend. A quick intuitive feeling, whether it's an intuition or old pattern block. As soon as I started reading that, fully felt like a heaviness in the liver or in the solar plexus there. So, and it just felt like a, almost like a, and I'm wondering if that's an old body memory from like an old body memory, so a block, yeah. Also feeling tightness in the throat, so I'm wondering if there's something that you need to say about the situation. If there's if there's something that you're not voicing about the situation too, which would disempower you, which is your solar plexus, liver. So the liver is anger and frustration, and not voicing how you're feeling would definitely cause anger and frustration. But I'm also wondering if there is anger and frustration around not feeling confident enough to voice how you feel. So confident solar plexus, enough to voice how you feel without fear of being disempowered is not the thing, but without fear of, I don't know, giving your power away, and in a sense of like needing to please other people rather than yourself, yeah? Self-worth stuff, which is what come up in the private group this morning actually, so you're probably right onto it there. So I don't know if that helps you. Yeah, liver and throat. So yeah, so that's what I'd be looking at there is, is there something that you need to voice around that? I'm just going to check these comments here. That's weird that they don't come up there. So you feel that heaviness in the same place. Yeah. So definitely would be voicing something. So even, like about just doing some journaling around, voicing, your frustrations and your anger around the situation, and then kind of getting clear, what threads are coming off that. You're very welcome, Jess. No worries. Hey, Perla. So Aleena, I see that you said that, yeah, it's been a very heavy, moody 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been pretty intense, the past 2 weeks for sure. Lots of stuff shifting out. So you guys might have probably seen that I am doing, a full raw food detox for an entire year. Scared and not scared, it just feels like the right timing. I have been a bit quiet on live streams and whatnot because, yeah, you're very welcome, Jess. I'm glad you know exactly. We usually do know. We sometimes just don't want to face that. Just like I said before with the intuition, sometimes there's a lot of intuition that I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Oh, I'm wondering how I pronounce. I say Perla. Oh yeah, is that not how you pronounce it? That's how I say it. Sorry. If I look at it, maybe it's not Perla. I think you're Pearl, like a pearl. For sure, Tammy, definitely can do that for you. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Yes, something about, oh yeah, the raw food detox. Yeah, and just resetting and recalibrating. There's been a big kind of internal shift already from, doing that reset. And if you've read my blog, I've done raw for, 3 months maximum. And to do it for an entire year is a big deal, but doing it from like New Year's to New Year's just didn't have the same kind of resonance. And when I intuitively got the message to do birthday to birthday, oh my god, Ozia, I'm like, wow, of course, that makes complete sense. So there's been a big recalibration and real like cleaning out and real allowing, the change to, kind of come from the inside out. So I'm excited because I know that it will, it's already creating massive shifts, and it's been a week. So, alright, I'm going to get the fairy cards. Alright, I had a feeling that I didn't turn that around. I'm just going to flick it around. Cool. So, Tammy. Alright, specific for you today, Tammy, for sure. Yes. Interesting. Autumn for Tammy. So autumn is definitely, in the fall season, everything comes together and you reap wonderful harvests of abundance. The first thing that I thought is, because autumn's a bit far away for us, however, the first thing that came to mind when I saw that for you, Tammy, is like letting go. Yeah, so autumn is a time where all the leaves let go, but what are you holding on to that you need to let go of? What can you drop? So if you think of the leaves, like what can you drop, like altogether? Like what is unnecessary? what can you just let go of and not have to worry about? Like, you know, like there's certain things we need to tend to, but what are the things that you can just completely not even come back to? Like, what can you let go of, literally? Yeah, here's the message I'm getting for you specifically. And the other thing I just wanted to share that just came up then. So if you just saw before, if anyone's joining or jumping on, you've got a question, just post in the comments. Happy to answer any question today, personal or not. So Jessica just asked a question and wasn't the cards. I intuitively, for sure, Chris, I intuitively got a sense for Jess, for Jessica, through the throat, solar plexus, liver, all that sort of thing, and it was 100% spot on. And then Tammy asked for a card. Sure, I will pull a card for you. But I just wanted to point out, if you're watching this live stream, the intuitive sense for you comes whether you've got these or not, comes whether you've got a tool. These are a tool. Yeah? These are just a tool that we use to confirm what we already know. So as I said to Jess, I said, yeah, getting liver, heart, solar plexus, voice. What are you needing to voice? It's making you angry, frustrated, liver, solar plexus. And Jess said, yep, spot on. I feel that heaviness in the same place, liver and throat. So I just wanted to point out there that you don't need these. You don't need external validation. When you ask a question, you always get this. Like, yes, these really help us. I'm not saying or disregarding any of this. I'm just pointing out, it feels like I really need to point out at this moment in time, that whenever we ask any question, we get the answers. It just depends whether we're listening. So as soon as Jess asked that, and I asked the same question, I said, and I read Jess's question straight away, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling that in my solar plexus. Now there's different ways that we receive our intuition. There's 4 different ways, and I speak about this a lot. Our claircognizance, our third eye, which is our clairvoyance, our clairaudience, we hear and then we feel. Now, I'm really getting a sense that most of you that watch my live streams and follow, you know, everyone's got different spiritual organs that we're strongest in. However, I feel like a lot of the people that follow my work are also very clairsentient, which is what I am. So we feel a lot. Yeah, we feel everything, for fuck's sake. We feel too much almost. We're deep feelers. We feel earth changes. We feel people. We feel everything. Yeah. And the reason that I'm just pointing this out is because, as Jess said, she said, yes, that makes sense. She said, I know exactly what it is. Yeah. It's like, we already know, and we already know. The cards, all of this, it just gives us confirmation of what we already know. Seeking a psychic reading, or if you get a private reading from me, then you know, this is, it helps us when we don't trust ourselves enough to listen within. And sometimes we just need that confirmation, like, and that's fine. I'm just pointing out, when you ask, be aware, because you'll immediately get the question, you'll get the answer, if you're listening, yeah? Alright, so, okay, so what do we got? There's some other ones here. So Mark, I didn't see your question before then. Where did you say, does the tattoo on your wrist represent some kind of spiritual symbolism? So this is, this way, stand up, is the Om symbol, yeah? That's the Om symbol, and then I've got the heart on my hand there, so the heart. And I didn't ask for this, but when I got that tattoo, this is so hard to hold it. I don't know if you can see a bear face in there or not, but the bear, I didn't ask for the bear. I just looked at it when he finished. I was like, oh, there's a bear in there. I have a feeling that bear is my animal spirit totem. So a totem animal is one that stays with you for your entire life. When I look at the bear symbolism, I'm like, yep, that resonates. So, and that just reminds me, like, I got that specifically to remind me to stay in my heart, not in my head. And I got that in Bali when I was there. It must be nearly 2 years ago now. So sorry I missed that one there. Alright. Just seeing what other questions there are here. Yeah, sorry, I just missed that before, Mark. Okay, so Tammy says, yeah, kind of in reference to what I said this morning, to let go, so some of those need and want to do. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. For the tattoos, yeah, I wouldn't get a tattoo without the meaning. There's my back tattoo too, I don't know if you can see that or not. But that's got definite meaning too. It's just the masculine and feminine balance coming in. And then that symbol is the medical symbol as well. The Hermes is on the most of the like ambulances and stuff like that, so it's like the healer symbol. And then I've got the flower of life in the heart at the top as well, so they've all got meaning. Looking forward to getting my other tattoos soon. Yeah, Tammy, so letting go of the need and want to do for sure. So and probably, you know, if you write a list and just see what, you know, is essential and what things that you can let go of kind of for good, and just, you know, trusting that, it can be very freeing. Alright, so if you've just jumped on, I'm happy to answer any questions right now. I haven't done live stream publicly for a little bit, but I felt called to do one today, so I'm just about to jump off live stream. But if you've just joined me and you've got a question, any question, ask away. I'm all ears, listening to you, listening and willing to help. The other thing that I wanted to share is that there has been big astrological changes going on. I'll post the link in the comments right now about Elizabeth Peru's. She shared it. I saw it last week. And just trying to think where I put the link in the group. Let me just find it. Here it is. So, alright, because if you're wondering about earth changes and the energy's been pretty heavy for a lot of people, the energy's been heavy non-stop, highly recommend watching Elizabeth Peru's video. I just put it in the comments now so you can easily grab that. Highly recommend watching, because she talks about even, you know, Donald Trump, and, you know, and it's interesting, when I watched it, she was talking a lot about the energetics of the cosmos, and, you know, Trump and all this stuff going on right now is very solar plexus and very sacral chakra. And I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't surprise me, when I've been intuitively called to create Trust Intuition, which was all solar plexus, and then, you know, create Calling in Your Soulmate, which was all sacral chakra. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm on the right path, as always. We don't always need confirmation, but sometimes it's nice to get confirmation, right? Exactly what I've been talking about on this live stream today. Yeah, Emily, for sure. Of course, my course Trust Intuition does that for you. Exactly why I created it. So Trust Intuition is open, actually. I have opened the doors to that. They'll be closing on the 29th of November. I can post a link in the comments to that. But yeah, it's exactly why I created Trust Intuition, because everybody always asked me, like, you know, especially when I first started coming on live stream just over a year ago, and you know, it was the one thing, you know, everybody would ask, like, well, how do you do this spiritually? How do you trust yourself? How do you trust your intuition? And I'm like, well, there's, you know, so much that I could share about that, hence me creating the course. So I will post that now in the comments. So yeah, that will be starting on the 29th of, doors will be closing on the 29th of November. I'm ahead of myself, September. So yeah, so I mean, like, how do you build a stronger connection, trust with yourself? Depends how deep you want to go. So, you know, we're vibrational, energetic beings, and, you know, through our upbringing or society in general, you know, we have all these beliefs come in. We go to school and we learn this and we learn that, and we have all this I guess knowledge, or, you know, coming into us from all different directions. And then as a child, we're a sponge and we just absorb our surroundings, and that becomes who we are. And in that, we can lose our connection to our true self, because we're like, oh, we need to be this way to receive this sort of approval, and we need to do this to do that, right? Whereas we should learn that we don't need to do anything. We just need to be and trust in us and turning up for the next step, that we will be provided for. However, we've been fed these beliefs that we need to do this in order to do that, to receive that, right? And so we kind of, I guess that thing coming in is like a, I guess, you know, if we talk about energy, it's like an energy sitting here. And then we've got this belief from this grade 4 that's sitting here. And then this belief from this grade 2 that's sitting here. So forth, right? And maybe not just school, but people, caregivers, all that sort of thing. It's all sitting in our energy field. And this kind of blocks us in a sense that, you know, when we get intuition and we listen to something, we're like, oh, you know, and intuition is very subtle as well. So, you know, the main thing I want to share just now is that, you know, with this, you know, we'll get intuition, and then we're like, oh, and then it'll be like, oh no, we need to do this so that we can do that. And then we're like, oh, okay, I need to do that. And we kind of listen to that rather than what's coming up from within, yeah? So, you know, 2 major things that's coming to share with you right now is that trusting yourself and your intuition is about unpicking and threading all these other beliefs and everyone else's stuff in your aura, right? When you actually kind of work to heal those, you know, bits of energy sitting in your field, and some of them might be quite deep or solid, could be from past life and stuff. It sits there in your energy field, and under that is usually a belief of some sort, and we're carrying all these beliefs around that are not necessarily from us, from other people as we've grown up in the world. And that creates a kind of, I guess, a heaviness in our field, right? And when we start working on this through, you know, everything I teach in Trust to Intuition, then we start to release, you know, that. We unpick them and we get to the core of it, and it shifts. And what happens when you take that energy out of your energy? Well, of course your energy is going to be lighter. It's like, you know, it's like the holding the ball under the water analogy, you know, like you can only hold so much stuff down before it kind of bursts back up, right? It's kind of like that ball is you know, wanting to come out, and when you start unpicking this stuff, you can be lighter, yeah? You can rise to the surface and you become stronger. So there's that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share there is that intuition is subtle, and it will be, you know, like it's a muscle, yeah? Intuition's a muscle, like I just said before on live stream. I'm not sure if you heard before or not, but there's 4 main ways, and again, I teach this in Trust Intuition. So the crown, your claircognizance, how you think, what you see, your third eye, your ears, what you're hearing, and what you're feeling. Now, these are all muscles, and they take practice, like strength, yeah? It's like going to the gym or training for a marathon. You wouldn't just go and run a 10K marathon if you haven't done any preparation for it at all, right? So you go to the gym, you work out, you eat healthy, you do all this training to get your muscles stronger and your body stronger so you can run that 10K marathon. So your intuition, and, you know, it's almost the same for any really scenario, that you work to strengthen these muscles to make your intuition stronger. So again, in Trust Intuition, I teach all these things in detail and then give you exercises and all this sort of thing of how to actually, you know, strengthen the muscles. So the doors are open for Trust Intuition if you're really, you know, serious and keen to, you know, really strengthen all of that, plus, you know, unthread and unpick all this other stuff that is sitting in your field. It's all in Trust Intuition. So if you've got any questions about that, send me a private message or comment below. But the doors are open. So the doors will be closing on the 29th of November. So exactly 2 months away, because it's the 29th of September today. So that is there. So thanks for asking that question, Emily, for sure. So I hope that little bit has just helped you. But yeah, it does take, you know, it takes practice. And it's just, you know, the more that you listen to it, like, it does come in subtle. But the more that you, well, thanks, Mark, for that idea. That's very interesting. There's, yeah, thanks for that. You kind of like threw me off thought, but not, because I've actually also just had ideas around doing that sort of thing. So, because as I've been like doing this raw food and cleansing, it's just been like recalibrating everything, and I've been getting all these messages to redo like so much. So, and that kind of idea had popped into my head. So please, so thank you for that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I guess confirmation again for me, that has been. So yeah, so what was I going to say about that? Yeah, you did distract me, but I was like, oh, I have been thinking about that. You've just kind of said everything I've been thinking. So my intuition, you're confirming my intuition. As I recalibrate lots of things. So I was saying something there though, I don't know now. Yeah, just about the Trust Intuition, there is the other stuff too. I don't know. It's okay. Has anyone else got any other questions? It is Ask Me Anything time. Otherwise I will jump off the live stream. I will pull a card just for the collective of the live stream too. I'm feeling out of the Ascended Masters deck. And it's probably going to confirm what we've already been talking about, no doubt. Ooh. Interesting. Again, this is already confirming the senses that I've been getting to. Positive change. So this is very interesting, because this is, you know, like I've obviously, like I said, I started this raw food cleanse of just over a week now. I've detoxed, shifted stuff in my house. If you've been reading my blogs the past couple of days, you already know all this. I've been recalibrating, realigning, reassessing, tuning in to what I'm here to do to support you. And it feels like, you know, yes, we've had the eclipses. Yes, we've gone through all this stuff. You know, it's been heavy for a lot of people. You're not alone. And it just feels like there's a shift that's starting to happen and starting to come kind of on the upswing. If you watch sort of this live stream, are talking about the surges and, you know, the waves come in, and this day and night cycle for a reason. And, you know, it's like trusting that. It's like, do you trust that, right? Do you really trust that? And this kind of just confirms that. And the sense that I've been getting for you, I've been getting messages around, you know, I'm like, what am I here to do for you guys and stuff. And have been getting similar things around, you know, creating a membership for my training courses. But also, you know, just with the positive change, like I've been getting a lot of messages around, you know, being conscious of our thoughts, what we're thinking, speaking most of the time. Like, we know all this stuff, but it feels like more now than ever, it's time to really like take extreme responsibility, like radical responsibility about what we're thinking and feeling and being and doing most of the time of our reality. It's all right doing, you know, 10 to 15 minutes, you know, journaling or meditation or whatever you do, but what are you doing for the rest of the 24 hours, 23 hours and 45 minutes of the day? Yeah, it's like really, really being, you know, strong at the moment. Clearing the way forward so you can do more, expand, and help more people. It's happening now for you. Yeah, exactly. Like, I really, really feel that so strongly, and I've just needed to take this step back to recalibrate. And the first 5 days of that raw cleanse was fucking horrendous. You know, it's just like all the toxins are starting to come out, and yeah, it's not nice when you first start a detox, but hey, we've got to, you know, it's like cleaning a cupboard out or cleaning, you know, a room out. All the stuff gets spread all over the floor, and then we kind of throw stuff out, we put some stuff back and all that sort of thing. So it's definitely what's been going on internally for my body. I've been having a big clean out, feeling kind of, you know, a lot better for it today, and having surges of energy as I know that that happens on detox. So just trusting each step of the way. So overlying card for the collective, and if you're watching this live stream, is positive change. So really trusting, thanks Mark, appreciate that. Yeah, so just trusting, you know, that change is on the way. And even if it feels like you're falling into a deep dark hole right now, know that, you know, if you consciously allow yourself to feel everything in that dark hole without acting on it. Yeah, so we might not want to be here, we want to make changes, we don't know what to make, we're just like, what's going on? Stay out of here and stay in here, and so let yourself feel without acting on it, okay? Because when you go through the darkness and you keep going through the darkness and keep going into the darkness, where does it end up? Yeah, it's like, you know, it's the same thing as facing your fears and doing it anyway. Like, turn towards your fear and ask, what's the worst that could happen? 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 And just keep going there. Because ultimately, what's the worst that can happen? Well, what's the worst that could happen? You know, and just go there. Like, face your fears. And when you face your fears, they're not there anymore. You've shone the light on them. And when you follow the darkness for as much as it can go, it ends up coming back to the light. So if you need help, I have been called in all this kind of, you know, me stepping back and tuning into what I'm doing and hearing and supporting you and all that sort of thing. Trust the Intuition is open. Okay, so doors will be closing in 2 months' time on the 29th of November. So I've put the link in the comments so that you can go and check it out. The thing here is that I've, in this kind of stepping back, I'm being called to step up and do more one-on-ones with people. So I'll post the link in the comments to that too. If you've got questions about working with me one-on-one, please send me a message, but I will post the link in the comments now for that too. So what happens in a one-on-one session, it varies, and really trust, you know, as you see how I work intuitively on my live streams, or any, you know, situation, it's very much tuning into what feels right and where we're being guided by spirit to go in that moment. So whatever is your most pressing thing will come up in session, and I have had sessions with people where it shifts instantly. It shifts, you know, in one session. So, you know, an hour deep dive is exactly that. It's a deep dive. So in my change and stepping around to help you and tuning into where I'm being called, I am being called to do more one-on-one sessions. So link is in the comments. If you've got questions, please let me know. I should really have my own column in a newspaper. You have a lot of good things to say. Thanks. Yeah, I've been called to do more writing, so that's definitely another thing in that recalibrating. So if you're watching the live stream and you've got any questions, please comment below and I shall come back to them, because I'm here to help you today, feeling called to do that and really step out to offer my support. So otherwise, have a beautiful day. Remember, keep positive, and if you're in the darkness, keep allowing yourself to feel it without acting on it, and continue through there, because there is light in there somewhere. You've just got to find it. Even if you don't want to, it is there. Remember, keep it really real. Lots of love. Namaste.